So perimenopause and hormonal symptoms can fluctuate off and on for up to 10 years before actual menopause. The average age is 51, but honestly it can occur in your 30s, 40s, or 50s. And whether your symptoms are mood, anxiety, trouble sleeping, hot flashes, night sweats, if you're to the point where you're suffering enough, you may need to just take hormones, progesterone and/or estrogen. The natural course of menopause is that progesterone drops first and then estrogen. So I always recommend starting with progesterone. I love progesterone. It's very calming, it's good for mood, it's very protective, it lowers our risk of breast cancer, it protects our arteries, helps protect our nerves and make neurotransmitters. Progesterone is a little different than estrogen in that you can try topical, like in creams, or there's a progescence oil that Young Living makes, but what's most effective for symptoms is oral progesterone because the breakdown metabolites are so effective. You can get it in a troche that dissolves in your mouth, usually made by compounding pharmacies, or just a compounded capsule. There's also a common prescription that any doctor can write, and you can get at any pharmacy called Prometrium, which is the most natural form of progesterone. Dose-wise, you can start with 50 or 100 milligrams, but you may have to go up to 200 milligrams, best to take at night because it's calming and helps with sleep. And I always recommend taking it if you're still having cycles during the last two weeks before your period, so like day 12 to 14 to day 28 to 30, or if you're really having a lot of symptoms, you can just take it 3 weeks on and 1 week off. If you're really at menopause, you can just take it every day, no worries. Now, I just don't recommend synthetic progesterone like Provera or medroxyprogesterone because that is the hormone that was used in all the studies that showed that hormones cause breast cancer. Now, if you're still really suffering, especially with your brain and memory problems, crying, and particularly hot flashes and night sweats, you may need to also take estrogen. So estrogen is opposite. I don't recommend oral forms because that increases your risk of clotting. I like the transdermal or skin forms like in patches. And I always recommend starting with low doses and titrating to effect. I'm not too afraid of estrogen, but what really matters is how your body metabolizes it. So remember to take DIM, because it helps safely and most effectively metabolize estrogen. If you're on estrogen and you have a uterus, you always have to take progesterone with it so that you're not at an increased risk of uterine cancer. And then testosterone, there may be some success stories out there, but I've just never found it that effective. Granted, it may be helpful for some people. Otherwise, if you just like to curl up with a book and learn about hormones and menopause, I'd recommend books by Dr. John Lee or Sarah Gottfried, Gottfried, and hopefully that'll help you out through this time. Which is defined as a year without a period. The average age is 51. The natural course of progesterone is that, oh, come on, really? Whether you've tried natural stuff or you're just suffering enough with, did I already say symptoms? Research shows that clicking the thumbs up and subscribe button will make fingers healthy and strong, and besides, it's free.